Hey guys, I'm Jasmine. Welcome back. Today we are going to be reacting to Coraline. If you guys are new here, occasionally I do movie, TV show, music, as well as Reddit reactions. Feel free to check out my different playlists, which will be linked in the description box down below. I have never seen this movie before. I don't know anything about what happens in this movie. I just know there's a little girl with blue hair, got on a yellow jacket, very similar to the little kid in It. I know that there's some chick with buttons on her eyes and a great turtleneck. I don't really know nothing else. I've heard that people like it for the aesthetics. People just told me,
you should watch it, you should check it out. They said that they really liked it.
But nobody really expressed to me the capacity of what this movie was even freaking about. I kind of want to be surprised. I didn't want to go searching because whenever I search for movies or like characters or shows, I always get spoiled. Always. So I was like, we're just gonna dive into this, not knowing a darn thing. If you guys don't know, my movie reactions are definitely very different from other people's. We do a recap and I'm watching with you guys in real time and recapping this in real time while also giving my actual reaction. It's a lot of commentary. Okay, so yeah, that's how we're gonna do it. So hopefully it's good. If you are really into the movie Coraline, make sure you check out this Coraline wish list full of gifts and goodies that you can find, from tote bags to shirts, hoodies, merch that I found within doing this Coraline reaction video. Feel free to purchase from it because it does help me as a creator. I do get paid a small commission from affiliate links since your girl is not yet monetized. So make sure you guys check it out. Links to the Coraline wishlist will be in the description box below. Oh, also, before I forget, I am going to be reacting to the whole Twilight series. The first movie reaction should be up next week, so make sure you guys give that a watch that playlist. But yeah, let's jump into Coraline movie reaction. Alright, so the opener is giving creepy theme music. I do like the little embroidery. I'll put it on the screen so y'all can see what it looks like. So we see this doll falling. Something is taking apart this whole doll, taking the clothes off its back, its hair, unraveling it, the eyes, the mouth. Definitely creepy. Is this a children's film? Because I'm not gonna lie, it's giving stuff nightmares are made of, and I feel like I would have not liked this as a kid. Absolutely not. With the way they're unraveling the pieces. I like my dolls put together, okay? Don't unravel it, take it apart, because now it's giving distorted. Stuff that's gonna haunt me and my dreams be up under my bed. It's them pulling the fluff out the mouth, out the throat, and it's just becoming deflated. Y'all like this? Again, it must be the aesthetics, I don't know, because I know I would have been having nightmares. And then it's these metal hands that are taking things apart, which... is this a robot? What is this? They took the doll apart, took the fluff out, and then filled it with, I guess, dirt or sand. Now it's making me wonder, is this doll gonna come to life because it's filled with dirt and sand? And you know how in the Bible it says like we've come from dirt, dust, sand, whatever the saying is. I don't want to get biblical, but that's what it's making me think of. They ended up putting the sand, dirt, whatever into the doll, sewing some clothes for it, and then sending it out back into the window, into the world. And it looks like that's what the main character is gonna be. I'm gonna try not to look too deep into it. We just gonna continue. Fast forward, we hear a Russian man counting numbers. We see this house that is pink and gray. It is called the Pink Palace Apartments, and apparently somebody is moving into this apartment place. I love the pink gray aesthetic. I need to get more into wearing outfits with pink and gray. So the movers move the stuff in, they end up signing off on everything, and the person was about to close the door, and the guy puts his foot in the door asking for a tip. They only give him $1. He just distraught about it. If you're gonna have somebody do something, some type of service for you, you should tip them. Really tip them well, because that's not right. Then we see this kind of unfortunate raggedy cat, black cat that's outside. The cat ends up seeing the main character come out in her yellow coat. She walks out, picks up a branch off of a tree, and it looks like she's fake using it to guide her somewhere. She ends up leaving out of the apartments and out of the gate, going exploring. As she is walking, the cat is following her from a distance, and mind you, she is walking along this trail. The cat is above on this cliff of rocks, ends up knocking some rocks off of the cliff, and the girl notices it and she thinks somebody is watching her but not like showing themselves, so she's like, who's there? Nobody says anything. She throws a rock up there, ends up hitting the cat because the cat ends up meowing really loud like it hurt itself. However, I feel like she potentially thinks the cat is bigger than it is because she takes off running. She not wasting no time. She like, I don't know if this is a mountain lion. I don't know what this is. I'm hauling ass about here. She takes off. So she ends up running and she gets into this dry patch area of the woods or wherever she is, forest, and she ends up running into this little circle. I don't know what these things are. I don't know if it's like acorn, but something she's standing in is circular, and the cat ends up showing up and she realizes the cat was what scared her. She proceeds to tell it,
I'm looking for the well. Do you know where the well is?
the cat ain't saying nothing. The cat just grilling her, looking at her. She's like,
Alright, whatever.
you asking a cat for help, girl? Can it speak? Probably not. I assume it can't speak. She proceeds to pick up the little stick that she had. She's like,
Magic Dowser, show me the well.
here, somebody is watching her. Some creep with some weird looking face. He has an air horn. He's on a bike. Terrifying stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I would have thought, who is that? I'm about to haul up out of here, because this guy looks like a creep. I'm out here by myself. Also, where are her parents? She's just out here exploring. How do they know if it's safe out here? She really just out here roaming about, walking around. I assume she just got to town. She just out here in the middle of nowhere looking for a well. Like, girl, you ain't got no water in that apartment building? So the person rolls up on her, knocks her over. You realize it's a guy. He ends up asking her,
Girl, you from Texas or Utah? You from somewhere dried out and barren?
which insulting. He's just coming at her like, girl, you from somewhere dry. And she looking like,
What? You being weird.
he ends up telling her he's heard about water witching because he overheard her talking about,
Magic Dowser, find me a well.
he says,
This is just an ordinary branch you picked up.
and she proceeds to tell him,
It's a dowsing rod.
it's a lot of information going over my head. I am very bewildered by what's going on. Is Coraline a witch? I don't know. Is witching a thing? I don't know what's happening. So the girl proceeds to be like,
Listen, you stalking me? I don't want no parts of you or your little mangy cat.
he tells her this ain't my cat, but it really is his cat. She tells him she from Pontiac, Michigan, which, Michigan, what up? She tells him she ain't no water witch. She was just looking for a well. He like, what? I guess the allure of the type of girl she was, where she was from, lost it when he heard Pontiac, Michigan. He shows her that she's actually standing on the well where the little circle, the rim, the little circle design was around where she was standing in. And he explains to her,
You gotta be careful about standing on this because you could fall in.
and he also tells her that his grandmother owns the Pink Palace Apartments, and he was surprised that she even let her move into the building. He tells her, yeah, my grandma normally doesn't rent to people who have kids, and there's some specific reason that he shares that they're not supposed to be discussing. He ends up introducing himself finally after all that, saying that his name is YB Lovett. Which, very unique name. Never heard no name like that before. Now, the girl ends up introducing herself as Coraline Jones. So he explains that his real name is Wyborn, YB for short, and they end up hearing someone calling his name. And he's trying to ignore it, like,
It's just my grandma.
but the girl is like, nah.
She calling you. Why were you born? She calling you. Why don't you go see what your grandma wants?
So he ends up heading out and going back to where his grandma is. He also ends up telling her that she should wear gloves next time because the branch that she was touching was an actual poison oak. Which, girl, again, where are your parents? Why are you just roaming about in the woods touching everything and now you gonna have poisonous oak ants? He leaves. She ends up dropping a rock or something down the well to see how far it drops, and she notices that the drop down is pretty far. So we see her at her house, well, in her apartment with her mother. Her mother's on a computer typing, barely paying her attention. You can see that she has poison oak on her hands. She expresses to her mom like,
Yeah, I almost died and fell down a well.
her mom not paying her no attention. To me, I'm thinking her mom does not give her any type of focus. Her mom is focused on her own world. She probably is going to be a kid that wants attention or is looking for attention. Coraline asks to go out. The mom is like,
Nah, you can't go out, it's raining.
she wants to go out and, I guess, garden. Her mom and dad, I guess, do gardening. They write about gardening. But apparently, from what Coraline says, they don't actually like to garden. So I'm assuming that maybe they run a blog or something. They probably decided this was a great way to make money, but they don't actually like what they talk about. That's what my assumption is. Coraline's mom ends up telling her,
Focus on unpacking.
you also end up coming to find out that one of the reasons where they don't really expose too much about it, but one of the reasons why they had to move was because the mom hit a truck or something. The mom says that some kid left her something out there on the porch. She ends up opening it. It's a note from YB where he ends up telling her,
Hey, I found this in my grandma's trunk.
and she unwraps it and it's a doll of her. I don't know. It's giving voodoo because why you making miniature dolls of kids? Coraline ends up saying,
I'm way too old for dolls.
me personally, I would have showed that to my mom like someone made a voodoo doll of me. We just gonna sit by and stand for this? Cause that's insane. We just got here and somebody already making dolls of me? It's giving creep stalker. Weirdo. She ends up walking into the office where her dad is working. We end up seeing the dad, and it's so funny because I've used memes of this dad before, but I did not know this was the movie it came from. But he looks very beat down, downtrodden. He up there typing on his laptop. Well, computer. You could tell he's doing work. I will say it's funny that he has a Michigan State sweatshirt on, but Coraline asks where the garden tools are. You could tell it's still a whole bunch of boxes stacked up because they haven't unpacked yet. He's like, what did the boss say, aka the mom, and explains that the mom told her, shouldn't be going outside. He sides with the mom based off of whatever she said. When the kid gets bored, what do? Start making noise. Coraline starts pulling the squeaky door back and forth, and the dad basically tells her,
Go find something to do, go exploring or something.
that kind of sucks, because she doesn't have anything to do. It seems like she's a only child at this point from what I'm seeing. So you could tell she's lonely and she wants some attention. She wants somebody to hang out with, play with. She was looking for something to do. Even though, to be honest, she could be unpacking. But you know how kids are. Bro. So, whoever told me to watch this movie, you do not like me because I do not like bugs, okay? The dad told her to count the windows, the doors, whatever. She counted 12. I don't know if that number is important, but I'm gonna just say it. She goes into the bathroom, opens the shower curtain, there's a whole bunch of centipedes up in there running over the walls. So many of them. She proceeds to smash them with her hands. You ain't had no paper towel, no magazine, no book, no nothing to smack them with. You use your bare hands. Mind you, don't you still got poison ivy on them hands? Don't you still got your blood, your wounds open? And you pressing bug gook in your palms. Oh my gosh, I'm just already done. I'm telling y'all, if there's multiple bugs in this, don't piss me off. Please don't piss me off. She sees that she pressed the centipedes into her poison ivy hands. She proceeds to turn on the bathtub faucet to rinse her hands. She turns it on. And when you haven't ran a faucet or a sink in a really long time, what ends up happening is you have to run it a bit because it has that brown water. So she turns it on and the water does not come out from the actual spout. It comes out from the shower head. Brown water pouring on her scalp, pouring on her head. Absolutely tragic. I feel for this kid. She just going through so much. She lonely. Her parents ignore her. She got creepy grandmothers making voodoo dolls of her. She got bugs. She got poison ivy. She done squished the bugs in her poison ivy hands. She got the water, the brown water in her hair. It's just too much. She gotta unpack. So she ends up seeing a door open after that whole situation goes with the nasty stuff. And she goes to where the water heater is. She ends up writing down in her notebook one rusty old water heater. She ends up leaving out the room and pressing the button. When she presses the button, you hear the dad hooting and hollering. And you end up seeing that his computer is glitching on him. The power is like going in and out. She hears this and she ends up going back and pushing the button again because it said do not push, but I guess she wasn't paying attention. She thought it was just a light switch to turn it off. But I'm guessing it's connected to the electricity. So the dad freaking out because he lost some of his work that he was working on. And this is why you always back up your stuff. I made a video some time back about how you need to back up your stuff. Make sure you always back up stuff because you just never know when something bad could happen. You gotta remember. So she starts unpacking her stuff. She has a water globe of the Detroit Zoo. Whoever made this gotta be from Michigan, I assume. I used to be a collector of water globes at one point in time, but then there was this flood that kind of ruined them. I kind of want to get back into collecting them, but I feel like they're kind of expensive now. But yeah, over the fireplace there is this painting of this boy who dropped his ice cream, which that's some interesting art choice specifically to have in a living room. But she ends up writing it in her little notepad and she's like,
one boring blue boy.
and she says 4 windows that are in this room. I'm assuming this is the living room, but the fridge is in there.
Is that a fridge?
I don't know. This is very confusing the way this house is set up. Okay, so this is really creepy. So it wasn't a fridge. That's all. I think it was like something wrapped in paper that was up against the wall. So she had pulled her doll out, but when she went back to reach it, it wasn't there. It was on the floor. She ends up moving the piece of, I don't know if it's like artwork or something, that I thought was the fridge. She moves it to the side and realizes it's like this secret little door over there, but it looks like it was painted over. But somehow the doll ended up moving from where she put it all the way across the room. That's not creepy at all. So the little girl is looking at this, right? She sees the outline of the door. She proceeds to yell, ask her mom,
Hey, where's this door go? Please come look at this.
but she hollering, okay? The mom ends up coming in there. She sees this, okay? Mind you, outline, painted over. Clearly it is meant for somebody not to open it. The mom says, if I do this for you, basically, would you leave me alone? She's like, yeah. The mom goes into the drawers. Now, there's this drawer filled with keys. So many keys. It's got to be a good 40, 50 keys in this drawer. Maybe more. Somehow, she figures out what key goes to this contraption in this wall, this door in this wall. She pulls it out. She cuts the door out. Which, what are you doing? You messing up the house. You messing up the establishment. What kind of mom are you? She ends up putting, which doesn't make sense. She puts the key into the lock, which how you doing that if it's painted over? But she does it somehow, and she opens it, and it's brick wall behind it. The little girl is disappointed. The mom is like, it must have been closed off. Yes, it must have. And why would you let your little child go in there? Completely bad parenting. What is going on? You just cutting through the paint, the fabric on the wall? What are you doing? I don't know, y'all. So the mom ends up leaving out. She's like,
You basically said you was gonna leave me alone, regardless if it was something cool to be found or not.
she walks out. The mom does not lock the door back. The little girl just closes it. She's like, whatever. Fast forward, they eating dinner. The dad cooking. I don't know what he cooking. It looked like some green stuff and some casserole of some sort. It looked nasty. Whatever it is. You end up finding out that the dad cooks, the mom cleans, and she tells her, the little girl, stay out of the way. Dang, y'all just eating whatever, huh? Did he even season that plate? The little girl don't like the cooking. The mom, she's satisfied. She like, whatever. She ends up telling him, like, you know what? We'll go grocery shopping as soon as I finish this catalog for whatever they got to do for work. So the green stuff is actually chard. I'm trying to think, have I ever had chard before? What is chard? I'm gonna have to Google that. She ends up going to bed and laying in the bed pondering her life. Like, how did I even get to this point? She ends up looking at this picture that's by her bed on her nightstand of her two friends, and you could tell that she's homesick. She misses her friends. Why is she going to sleep? Why is she asleep? The little cupboard, the little thing, the little hole in the wall door that the mom didn't lock back, you see some floating for her. I don't know if they hamsters, mice, what. They come out of there. They just floating around in a circle. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they coming from some other world. What's happening? The girl ends up hearing a squeaking noise. You proceed to see a mice just hopping about, running about. The girl get out of bed, she chased it. I'm sorry. This little girl got no fear, because if it was me, I'd be yelling, screaming, it's mice in the freaking house. And I'm gonna need you, mom and dad, to get up out the bed, because you chose this punk house, and I'm gonna need y'all to exterminate these, because this is the life for me. This is not, I was not supposed to be with a centipede, no mouse infested. Get rid of them. The mice end up going behind that little door cover, right? She opened the door. It is no longer brick wall. It's like a, holographic, iridescent little tumble tube. It just goes down. She proceeds to go through it. I'm sorry, is some form of kidnapping happening? What is going on here? And this is the thing about curious kids. You gotta explain to them. You don't go nowhere where I'm not at. Like, she just like,
Oh, let's be Dora the Explorer, see what's in here.
This used to have brick wall, now I don't. The grandma giving me voodoo dolls of myself is, she just not safe. So the girl ends up going through to the other side, and when she comes out of the other side, it looks like there's a duplicate version of the house she was just in. She ends up looking up at that painting that was on the fireplace. No longer is the little boy looking sad. The little boy is looking happy, and the ice cream is no longer on the ground where he dropped it. It is now in his cone, and he is licking it. So is this some type of upside down world? I'm peeping it. I feel like she about to go into this world. Her parents probably gonna be nice. They probably gonna be paying her more attention. The food probably gonna be good. This is an alternate world. I don't want to say alternate universe, but this is like an upside down world maybe. That's what I think is gonna happen. So she ends up smelling something good. So she goes into the kitchen. The kitchen is bright. It's not as dreary as the house that she actually lives in. She hears her mother singing. The other mother turns around. She cooking. She got food ready to go. And you see she got buttons on her eyes. Coraline like,
Who are you? Cause you're not my mom.
you acting real different. You cooking. And you got buttons on your eyes. The lady proceeds to say,
I'm your other mother.
what was that? What's that supposed to mean? It's giving creepy. So the other mother tells her,
Go tell your other father that supper's ready. He's in the study.
I'm about to crawl back through that tumble and head back home. To me, I'm assuming that she gonna stick around for a while, cause she like,
Oh, mom cooking good food. It's bright in here. You nice to me.
I feel like she gonna want to stick around and stay in this other world. But let's see what's going on with the dad. Alright. So, the dad, first of all, his study neat, clean, aesthetically pleasing, I must say. He's in there playing a piano. He turns around, buttons on his eyes. He's like,
Hey, you want to hear my new song?
she's like, my dad doesn't play the piano. He expresses,
Oh, I'm letting the piano play me.
hands pop out. The hands get on him, and I guess the hands can control his movement to play music correctly. Convenient. But also, who are you? Oh my gosh, they probably gonna kidnap her and try to keep her from crossing back over. And also, how you letting the piano play you? But the dad seems very nice. He seems more lively, even if he got buttons on his eyes. So the dad proceeds to sing this song about Coraline, talking about she's
as cute as a button in the eyes of everyone.
So I wonder if that's important since everybody has button eyes. Coraline looking suspicious.
I know it's not my dad. My dad don't be singing like this. He don't be doing this.
But I'm looking forward to see what the food it is that the other mom made. Even though personally, I'd be like, don't eat that because it could be poison. In the song, the dad also says, when she comes along, they will never make things boring. Their eyes will always be on Coraline. Creepy, because again, it's given. They not about to let you leave this other world. So the mom made a delicious, delightful spread. She made a freshly cooked chicken, okay, whole. She got corn on the cob, rolls, mashed potatoes. Coraline is like, she chowing into the meat. She like,
Oh, this good.
she asked the other mom.
You got some gravy?
She proceeds to be like,
Here come the gravy train.
and there's literally a train that brings out the gravy. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I always wanted one of them little remote trains. I always wanted one, but it's like, where are you gonna put it? Also, I think it's strange how she not eating, the other mom, she's not eating. She's just watching Coraline eat. Suspicious. I'm waiting for you to fill your plate as well. We not about to be the only people eating. What'd you do to food? Gotta eat a meal together as a family if that's the type of time you on. So as Coraline is eating, the mom is like, oh, would you like anything else? She's like, you need another roll, some more corn. And she's like, I need something to drink. She's like, any requests? And the girl is like, mango milkshake, which they just pull mango milkshake from the air. It's like a drop down of all these different drinks. I'm assuming it's her favorite drinks. And she ends up pulling the lever and the mango milkshake just comes out into the cup and she drinks it. It's good. So the mom proceeds to remove the plate that she was eating on. Mind you, there's a lot of food in that plate. I'm not finished. Put that back. But the mom ends up removing the plate, presents a whole big old chocolate cake in front of her. Ooh, I hope they not fattening her up. I hope it's not giving, what's that lady? Well, what's the fairy tale with the kids who ate so much food and the lady was trying to cook them? Hansel and Gretel. I hope this ain't a Hansel and Gretel situation, especially since we know previously that the little boy said that the grandma don't invite kids to the house. So on the cake, candles sprout up and it starts writing welcome home. Coraline like, home? What you talking about? The other mom and the other dad,
We've been waiting for you.
we've been wanting you to come home, basically. Excuse me? I got a home. On the other side, even though I don't like them, I don't mess with them like that. I just met you. The other mom and her dad, they're like,
Everyone has another mom and another dad.
even though Coraline is in confusion because she's like, I didn't know I ever had another mom and another dad like this. So the mom she's like, once you finish eating, let's play a game.
Want to play hide and seek in the rain?
What rain?
And it instantly starts thundering and raining outside. Is this chick Storm? She in control of the weather as well? Coraline, I'm gonna need you to hightail it out of there because this woman got powers. She creepy. She acting like she your mom. She got buttons on her face. It's given she go possess you and try not to let you get up out of there. Not possess in the physical sense, but possess is in coveting. Because kidnapping. Coraline is like, this ain't right. You said you don't like mud, which she did. She expressed she don't like mud being in her house. The dad is like,
We love mud over here.
the other mom proceeds to tell her,
Mud pies, mud baths, mud facials. We like everything is great for poison oak.
Girl, you differently different.
So she expresses,
I need to go back to my other mom.
she's like, I'm right here. She's like,
No, my other mother. My mother number one.
ooh, she rubbing it in deep, ain't she? So they proceed to escort her to her bedroom. Her other bedroom looks very nice, but you do got some of her toys that are alive addressing her. Hey, Coraline, you know, stuff like that. Ooh, they gonna lock this girl in there. She ain't never getting out. She letting the whimsy overcome her. Now, I do wonder how things are gonna be, like how she about to get out of this, or if the mom is gonna keep her from leaving. So she ends up coming into her bedroom and she sees her friends, like the picture frame that was in her original bedroom. her friends are now talking with her and they are like chatting a little bit, basically agreeing that they gonna probably come over to her house, stuff like that. And she proceeds to lay down and go to sleep. Now the mom turns off the light and sits next to her. The dad sits with her and they're basically watching her sleep, talking about see you soon. Why are y'all watching y'all child sleep? Why don't y'all go to bed? This is getting really weird. Also, keep in mind that the mom put some mud on her poison oak before she went to sleep. So she ends up waking up, and when she wakes up, her room looks different from it was in the other world. And she ends up looking at her hand. Her poison oak marks are completely gone. So the mud completely healed her hand. So the girl ends up going to where the door was. She opens the door. She realizes it's brick wall again. She's like, huh. She ends up telling her real mother and her real dad what happened in her dream about the buttons on the eyes, what she ate. Her mom is like,
You only dreamed eating all that chicken. Take your multivitamin.
so the mom tells her,
Why don't you go tell some of our neighbors these stories?
to which Coraline is like,
I thought you said that they were dingbats.
and the mom is like, yeah, almost like she telling her, go talk to somebody who doesn't really have any common sense almost. Why can't you just listen to your daughter rammer on about something, you know? Coraline ends up going outside. She notices there's a whole bunch of packages in front of the doorstep. She realizes that the packages are for somebody named Bobinski. They have a quite stank smell on the packages, so I don't know what's in them. But she ends up bringing the packages up to the neighbor's house. She knocks on the door and she yells,
Some of our packages, I guess, got mixed up. They left them at our doorstep.
personally, I would have just left the packages at the door, but you know how kids are. And she ends up accidentally pushing the door open. A pot over boiling, it's a little messy in there. This guy comes from behind her hanging upside down. He basically yells secret, like his apartment is a secret. I guess he's working on making circus of mice. So I'm assuming that's where the mice came from that we saw prior that was coming out of the, what is it called? The brick wall cupboard door thing. That's what I assume. Or maybe he just stole them thinking he was gonna make some money off of them or something. She shows him, yeah, they're the packages. And he smells them. Come to find out it's cheese in them. I'm assuming he got the cheese for the mice, and he basically accuses her of stealing the packages for a mix-up so that she could potentially see inside of his house to see the mice. Boy, please. Also, we end up realizing he was the Russian guy that was counting at the beginning of the movie. And he is ridiculously tall. Like, he has long legs, but he's kind of wide. He is very nimble. I assume he goes and runs in the circus as well. Like, that's what he does. You could tell. He's very fit. He doing all these different tricks, flips and stuff. But he ends up telling her one of the reasons why he got the cheese was because that he's trying to transition the mice into performing to a different song, I guess, because they only like specific music that they perform to. He wants them to, I guess, get into the music that he likes, that he uses to perform at the circus. He also ends up giving Coraline a beat, which, why are you giving a child a beat? You could at least gave her an apple or something, you know what I mean? But anyways, so Coraline tosses the beat. She ends up walking away and walking outside. The Russian guy, he yells, he's like,
Coraline, wait.
he hops down up off the where he reside, almost hopping onto the tool she had, which would have been horrible for his crotch. But he ends up telling her the mice told him to tell her something. They tell her, don't go through the little door. She explains,
Well, it's bricked up. The one that had the wallpaper on it is bricked up. Like, I can't even go through it.
so the guy is like,
Well, maybe it was a mix-up, never mind.
see, and I know she hard-headed, she gonna still go through that door. Because that's how curious kids do. So they part their ways. Coraline goes up to her car and she grabs her pink suitcase and pulls out her hat. It's like a paperboy hat, I think. And she ends up walking down these stairs. But she sees this mat that she stands on, and it says no whistling in the house. Coraline ends up knocking on the door and sees these 3 little dogs. Ooh, they about to attack her because the lady opens the door and the dog just come out. And luckily they friendly, because to me, I would have been scared. I would have been like,
oh, they gonna attack me.
The dogs are really excited to see her. The grandma is like, oh,
How nice to see you, Caroline.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm really liking the blue eyeshadow that the grandma wearing. That's cute. Actually, my mistake. I don't think this is the grandma. I just think this is a neighbor. The neighbor invites her in to play cards. She's gonna sit there and play cards with them. So her and there's this other lady that lives in this apartment. I assume that they are best friends. They used to be showgirls and they ended up staying together, living together, even into their old age. So Coraline looks up at the wall and realizes that there are a whole bunch of dogs like lined up, right? They got angel wings on. They look real. Coraline is like,
Are they real?
you proceed to find out, I think it's called taxidermy. She had her dead dogs stuffed because she didn't want to part with them. And she had like 9 of them up there as angels. So morbid. Ain't no way. I would be high telling it out of there. You end up realizing she gonna do the same with her current dogs that she got right now. So one of the other ladies brings her some taffy. She's like, yeah, you know, this is some of the best taffy in the world. Take some if you like. You realize the taffy is old. It's stuck together. Coraline can't even get the taffy out of the bowl. While she's trying to pull it out the bowl, the whole jar end up getting stuck to the freaking the vent. The other lady, she tells her,
I can read your fortune with tea leaves if you like, so that we can see your future.
and she tells her to drink up. Now, listen, I don't have nothing against fortune telling. However, after I've seen that one Beyonce movie, Carmen a Hippopotera, terrified of any type of fortune telling personally. I would never, after seeing that movie, I don't care what anybody says, that movie was so terrifying to me. If you've seen it, I don't know if you peeped the vibes, but I did, and I was like, absolutely not. But apparently Coraline gonna get her cup red, her tea leaves red. Now, one of the ladies said that she was in danger. The other lady was like, you are gonna meet a tall, handsome beast, basically. And they proceed to tell her, here's the advice we got for you. Never wear green in the dressing room. Get you a tall step ladder and also be very careful. And what's funny is one of the ladies saw a peculiar hand, and what I mean by that is it looked like the hand that we saw at the beginning of the movie that was taking apart the doll and putting the doll back together that looked like her, while the other lady just saw a giraffe. So that was what her fortune said. And the lady ends up telling her like, oh, wasn't it something you wanted to tell us since you came here to see us? So Coraline decides to not tell them the story, and she just decides to head out. And she starts pondering what the lady meant by danger. Now, as she comes out, it's fog everywhere. And one thing about me, I'm not a fan of fog. I remember there were many days in Michigan where we would go outside and all we would see is white. And I absolutely could not stand days like that because it was absolutely terrifying, especially when you could not see no light. You did not know what was going on. Very scary stuff. It just looked like you were being in a car and it was just white all around your car. Like you couldn't see anything. So she ends up running into Wilby? I can't remember his name. He tells her that they're hunting banana slugs for whatever reason. But she asks him, did he make the doll of her? He tells her, no. That doll is about as old as this house. Coraline doesn't believe that. She looks at him and expresses,
yeah, so you basically want me to believe that there's this doll that looked exactly like me, been in your house all this time, and you didn't make it?
So she's trying to talk with him, and he's kind of ignoring her, to which she says, you're just like my parents, you ignore me, don't pay me no attention. They proceed to joke. He takes pictures of himself she takes pictures of him that he wants her to take of him with the slug doing silly things or whatever. The boy explains to her the grandma did not ever want him to go into the apartment building that she stays in because the grandma explained that it was dangerous. He explains the story that their grandmother had a sister that disappeared and was stolen when they were kids. He thinks that there's a possibility that the sister potentially just ran away from home and never came back, and he ends up hearing his grandma call for him, and he rides back to where his grandma is. Now, Coraline is left with all this. So, the grandma just renting this house out. What was the reasoning behind why she let Coraline, the parents, move in if Coraline was there? Like, is she okay with having Coraline get stolen? Why did she, for the first time in forever, be okay with a kid moving into that house at this point? What's the reasoning? Because whatever his name is, he explained that normally she doesn't rent to people who have kids, but now she did. So what's the reason? Or does the sister look like Caroline, favor her? Does it have something to do with that doll? What's going on? So before Coraline goes to sleep, she ends up sending some cheese out by her door. I assume it's so that she can hear the mice come into her room. She ends up going to sleep, but she hears the mice squeaking, and she ends up following them behind that door, even though they told her not to go behind the door. And my thing is, if you're from that other world, do something else with your time. Like, don't be out here roaming about the streets and you know it's a curious girl. Even if you told her,
don't follow us.
Did y'all not hear her coming behind y'all? Y'all had to. And now she following y'all. How come you just stand there and talk with her and tell her don't go in there because it's such and such? But maybe just me. Maybe I'm giving these mice too much credit. So Coraline goes to the other side again. The mom is cooking. She tells her, it's nice to see you.
Welcome back. And it was nice of you to bring me this cheese.
Which to me is crazy. So you basically saying the mice are bringing you cheese? The cheese that I left out for them? And you just picked it off the floor and just put it in the mail? Listen, she built different. But she ends up telling her,
go get your father.
So the mom refers to the dad as a better father, tells her that the father is out in the garden. Go get him. Coraline is like,
he don't have time to garden.
She like, shush, just go out there and get him. See, she already integrating herself. The other mom talking about better father. They about to snatch her and keep her from crossing to the other side. And you know what else? She gonna be the one with buttons on her face. Oof, I'm so nervous. So when Coraline goes into the garden starts coming to life with every step that she takes. It's beautiful, but also very weird. She walks out there, explores a little bit, and she ends up seeing the dad ride in like a praying mantis carriage, which is very creepy. Again, I do not mess with bugs, but the dad sees her and he's like, hey, the creatures in the garden, they're entertaining Coraline, tickling her even. Now, I'm starting to think this is a grasshopper or a cricket he riding on and not a praying mantis. Regardless, it's a bug that we don't like. So he tells her something I want to show you. He ends up getting her in the carriage, they flying up, and you come to realize that the garden is basically made to shape Coraline's face, and it looks exactly like Coraline, but in garden form, which lovely gesture, but still terrifying. So they end up having breakfast for dinner, which love that. That's something that I always really liked, eating breakfast for dinner. They chat for a little bit. The mom explains to her that Bobinski has invited her to see the Circus Mice show. She could go see it. She ends up talking about how Weibly, he does not believe in whatever stuff that she was talking about. The mom tells her, go run along and play with your friend. She's like, what friend? She opens the door and it's Weibly. However, it's him with the buttons on his eyes. He isn't saying anything. Come to find out that the mom expresses,
oh, I thought you would like him more if he talked less.
Coraline is like,
oh yeah, that sounds nice.
So you ain't questioning the fact that your mom just sewing people's mouths shut? Is that not terrifying to you? Coraline just want a world where everything is her way and goes her way. She not really realizing how bad that is or how bad that could be. So Coraline ends up asking him, saying like, you're awfully cheerful, because he has like a smile plaster on his face, which I assume the other mom sewed it that way. Coraline asks, did it hurt as far as like him not being able to speak, stuff like that? Wiley's not saying nothing. Obviously, he can't say anything. They end up going to Bobinski's apartment, opening the door, they see this little circus set up. Now, I'm really hoping that the mice end up talking to her and telling her, like,
girl, you need to get up out of here.
I really hope they end up telling her that. Coraline ends up eating cotton candy, popcorn. Wiley can't because his mouth's sewed. He ain't saying nothing. The mice are performing. It's way more than I thought it was, but they having a whole show. Coraline is loving it. They spell her name. They performing. They dancing. It's a great time. So Bobinski shows up. He's the circus ringleader. The show ends up closing, and he's like,
"You're welcome for me to entertain you at any time."
Somehow Coraline ends up at home in the other world in her bedroom. The mom and the dad surrounding her. Wibbly, whatever his name is, he's also there, and she ends up falling asleep, which to me is weird. Like, why is the neighbor in my bedroom? So now, as I'm watching this, because Coraline ends up waking up in her actual bedroom from the original world, but I'm starting to think that, so y'all know how the grandmother shared how the sister ended up disappearing? It's kind of making me wonder if the sister wanted to stay there at that point. Did the sister go to this other world, not necessarily get kidnapped, but she realized that life was better to her in the other world, so she decided to stay in the other world? I feel like that's something that Coraline probably is going to deal with herself, because originally I was like, is the other mom gonna kidnap her? But now I'm kind of a trance where it's like the more you go there, the more you want to stay there, the more you want to have a real life there, and then they don't leave. Caroline gets up, wakes up in the present world, and she realizes she's not in her other house with the nice bedroom that she really liked and stuff like that. She gets kind of annoyed. She ends up running downstairs, tries to open the door that she went to the other world. For whatever reason, it's like kind of merged, closed shut, where she can't really pull it open. She ends up telling her real parents everything that happened in her dream. They are, I guess, at the publisher's place, so they're not bloggers. They are authors of, I guess, a gardening book series or like a plant series or something like that. I guess they co-wrote a book together, and that's what they have been working on since they got to this new house. As Coraline is telling the story, she talks about Bobinski, how the circus was such an amazing performance. She shares how the mom thought a specific way, and the mom explains to her she feels that Bobinski is a drunk. Again, the mom seems to be very present life negative, and it could just be because she doesn't really like the circumstances of her life. But it's like, why are you sharing that with your daughter? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you being pessimistic all the time and not being encouraging or uplifting for her? Alright, so while the dad is dealing with the book publishing and all that, the mom and Coraline are going school uniform shopping, and apparently Coraline has to wear these gray uniforms. She ends up seeing these gloves she really wants, and her mom tells her no,
put them back.
Coraline expresses, my other mom would get them for me. Her mother is like, well, would she pay for all your clothes too? So they hop in the car while they're driving on back to the house. Coraline tells her,
why did you close the door back?
Come to find out, the reason why she did is because she found a whole bunch of rat poop in there. She's trying to protect Coraline. Coraline expresses that the dream she's having is the most fun she's had since they've gotten there. Stuff isn't dangerous. The mom tries to tell her,
maybe school will be fun. Maybe that will be a better experience for you.
And Coraline is kind of negative. It's almost like a little bit they're reversing their views. Coraline is starting to become pessimistic about the real world, and the mom, this is the most she said anything even remotely positive, to be honest. So they get to the house, and the mom looks in the fridge.
You want a ketchup mustard salsa wrap sandwich for lunch?
Coraline like, girl, no. The mom tells her, well, Dad is supposed to be planning something special. Specifically, I think it's because of the book that they did. Coraline is like disgusting because she knows her dad's cooking is horrible. So the mom is like,
how about we do a store run? You could pick out something you like.
Again, it's weird because maybe the mom was stressed out because of meeting this deadline with this book, but her mood is transitioning and getting much better. She's like,
yeah, you want to go do this with me?
she's starting to give her more attention, and Coraline is kind of like, no, she wants what she wants, how she wants it. But she asks her, you could pick up something you like at the grocery store, and Coraline is,
oh, like the gloves
that she mentioned in the uniform store prior. So the mom tells her if things go well with this book, she'll make it up to her. Coraline tells her
that's what you always say.
So I guess she always does the fake false promises that she's going to do something for her. That doesn't end up happening. She ends up heading out to go to the grocery store, but Coraline decides, I'm going to find a way to go back to that other world, and she goes looking for the key in the key drawer. She finds the key hanging above this door. She ends up stacking some books, getting it off the door. She opens it, and she realizes it's real. Now, mind you, this is the first time that Coraline uses the key herself. This is also the first time that the mice did not lead her into it themselves. Coraline went looking for it herself, which to me signals trouble. This is different from when the mice led you in. This is more you going looking for it like you want to leave. You don't want connection to this world almost. So she goes through the door. Now the cat is on the outside of the window and sees her going into this other world as well. So it makes me wonder if the cat is gonna go get Wibbly, whatever his name is, come help him. And I'm hoping he don't get caught up in it because I know his grandmother told him not to go into their house as well. But we gonna see. So Coraline goes to the other side. She sees that her mother made her a delicious spread for lunch, and her mother left her an outfit and then a note that says the two ladies invited her over after she ate lunch. So she ends up devouring that lunch, putting on her cute outfit, and going over to the neighbor's place in the other world. While she's outside, she ends up running into the other cat. However, this cat can talk, and this cat also does not have buttons on the eyes, which is interesting. I wonder if it's the same exact cat, except for whatever reason in this plane of this other world he can talk, maybe. The cat expresses to her that the other mother hates cats. She cannot control that cat. That cat comes and goes as he pleases. And he ends up telling her that this other mother is not what you think she is. You thinking you getting your way. It's something more to it than that. Coraline is like, what are you talking about? He expresses that the other Wibbly told him so, that this other mother has some other stuff going on. Coraline is like,
but Wibbly can't talk.
And the cat explains, oh, he can talk to me. The cat runs off after hearing some noise, and you end up realizing that it is the neighbors. I guess they're doing some type of performance. I'm assuming they're going to do some type of showgirl performance, since we know that they used to be showgirls based off of those old photos. So Coraline comes into their apartment, which is set up like a whole theater, and it's filled with dogs and dogs in there, because we know that they have dogs. They've taxidermied their dog. The dogs are helping the performance while also in the audience as well. She ends up seeing Wibbly. Wibbly is there, and yeah, they're about to watch the ladies perform. One of the ladies is a mermaid siren, and she starts singing. Now, I resent that one lyric of this, because she ends up saying if you go swimming with bow-legged women, she'll steal the guys. And I'm bow-legged. Not too much, okay? But she basically saying that bow-legged girls ain't got nothing to work for them. You know what I'm saying? And it's got me feeling some type of way. This cannot be a kid show. I mean, a kid movie, because this lady, naked body out, okay? She got jewels on her boobs. Her boobs sitting up. She naked. Y'all. It's at the 48-minute mark. Please. I want to do a little screen cap, but no. This cannot be a children's movie. Coraline, she about like... So the ladies are singing this song, but also talking smack to each other back and forth. It's actually quite hilarious. Her boobs, I just can't get past it. I can't get back the attire setup. So this dog, the dog brings out some water. They end up ruining the set and closing the curtains. This dog brings out some water. You see the ladies on either side. They about to jump off into this little bucket of water, right? They old, they kind of got meat on them, they bigger. Coraline, like, I can't look. They end up unzipping their body skin meat, and they reveal the younger versions of them when they were they showgirls in their showgirl era 30 plus years ago. And they end up jumping into the container. Whoa. You really, you did something. Because that actually quite shocked me. Disturbing, but quite shocked me. So they end up doing flipping tricks and they dive into the water. Coraline ends up getting up there. They end up catching her. The mom and dad come pick her up. Coraline tells them everything that happened. Wybly walks with them, and she ends up going into the house. Coraline's mom is like,
You do like it here, don't you?
she's like, yeah. They about to close the door, and you see Wybly looking sad. His face does not have no longer a smile on it. And Coraline's mom, the other mom, peeps this and basically tells him to smile. You could tell Wybly don't want to. He knows something wrong. The mom closes the door behind her.
She's like, you could stay here forever if you wanted to.
Plotting. Coraline is excited about the concept that she might be able to stay there in the other world, right? So the mom and dad is like,
Okay, if you want to stay here, bet.
Here's one thing you need to do.
pass over this box, and inside of the box is some buttons, some sewing thread, and a sewing needle. They like,
You need to sew that bad boy on.
Coraline like,
Hold up. No way. I'm not doing that.
the mom is like, well,
Listen, the only way out is a box.
she don't say that, but she basically like, if you want to stay here, you need to sew these buttons on your eyes. Coraline, she tells them no way, and she's like,
I'm about to go to bed early.
the mom and dad are like,
Oh, before dinner?
that's suspicious. She's like, yeah, I'm not really feeling up to it. The mom is like,
Okay, let's tuck you in. I'm gonna tuck you in.
she's like,
Nah, that's all right. That's all right. I got this. You done enough for me already. You stay where you be.
now, the mom pops up behind her and she's like,
Oh, we're not worried at all.
and I'm like, okay, not too much. No. She ends up holding upstairs to her room, right? Closes the door. The toys, the creatures, her little toys coming to life.
Hey, you want to play with us, Coraline?
She like, nah. She end up snatching all them things, all the toys, throwing them in her chest. She like, nah, I'm about to get up out of here tonight. I guess she puts stuff in front of her door and she ends up closing her eyes and going to sleep. So I guess Coraline goes to sleep, but she wakes up and she's still in the other world. It does not take her to the regular world like it normally would. Oh, she's trapped. So she ends up getting up out the bed. She goes to open the door to go outside. She cannot go outside. It's locked. Which to me, I'm like, girl, ain't it some sort of lock you could unlock? It's the inside of the house. But anyways, she ends up hearing the dad playing on the piano. She goes in there. She like,
Where's the other mother at?
he tells her the other mother is refreshed, like she needs to get her rest or whatever, because in order for all this to run, she got to be refreshed. And the piano ends up covering his mouth to keep him from saying any more. So we realizing that this world runs on the other mother's energy. I don't know what type of energy it is. She could be a witch. We don't know. So the dad ends up, he looking depressed. He not looking like how he normally would, because he usually be more lively. He ends up expressing to her that he can't say anything when the mother is not there, because this her show. She run everything, right? Coraline, is like, well, I'm gonna go find the other Wybly, because he gonna potentially be able to help me. The dad is like, oh no.
He put a long face. He was sad, showing too much emotion. Basically, the other mother snatched him up.
Coraline like,
What you be?
I'm really sitting here, this is stuff of nightmares, bro. The mother run a tight shift, clearly. Now, that is reminiscent to the original world, because technically, I won't say she ran a tight shift, but stuff was kind of, and the dad would lean into whatever type of stuff that she wanted to do when it came to parenting and how the household was ran. Wait. So I am so confused because I thought she couldn't open the door, but I'm assuming that was the door to go through to the other side, maybe, that she couldn't open. Because she ends up running outside, and I'm guessing she's going to look for Wybly right now. So she runs outside. She runs into the cat. The cat greets her. He like, what you doing out here? She starts going past what is known to be available to her. And as she's walking, the screen starts turning white. The trees and all the wood and stuff, it starts turning white. And the cat is like, this is the end of the world. And she tells him that she's looking for the well, which I don't know why she's looking for the well. Maybe she thinks she can escape to the other side through the well if she jumps in, which that's not a bad concept, but at the same time, what made you think of that? But yeah, she ends up walking off to the screen and it's just white now. How's she about to get out of this? So the cat explains that the mother did not make anything past what she felt would make Coraline happy. Maybe she assumed that Coraline would not want to go and escape. Coraline is like,
Why does she care so much?
and the cat tells her that she wanted to have something to love, or maybe potentially that she wanted to have something to eat. Which, again, is it Hansel and Gretel energy or what's going on? So this concerns Coraline. She getting a little nervous because she don't know what's about to happen. Like,
Do mom want to eat me, or, what is this?
so Coraline ends up walking, yeah? Somehow she ends up going back to where she started from. It was like walk around the world, you end up at the start of the world, basically. The cat ends up telling her, hold on, like I hear something. And it was a mouse playing a trumpet. So the cat ends up catching the mouse, biting him. Coraline concerned about the cat hurting it, but when he bit into him, it turned into a rat. So the rat, he ends up explaining that it was to sound the alarm to give an alert that what they were doing. It's just so many turns. I don't know where this is gonna end up. Y'all, what did I say? I said I don't like bugs. So Coraline gets to the house. She decides, I'm about to go in this house. She looks on the outside. She realizes some canes or something. She's like, okay, I'm about to pry open this door. She goes in there, pries open the door, gets the locks off the door, walks in there. She sees that the door to the other world, her real world, is open. A bug walk in front of it, a big bug. The room starts lighting up and you realize the other mother was waiting for her and was in there. There's another bug. There are multiple bugs in there. They block off the entrance out, and then they block off the entrance to the real world off as well. The mom proceeds to tell her,
Even the proudest spirit can be broken with love.
where are you getting your information from, babe? Controlling. She's trying to manipulate the whole show. She ends up offering Coraline some cocoa beetles, and she eating them while they moving. Y'all, this the stuff I don't like. Coraline ends up telling her,
I want to be with my real mom and dad.
why'd you tell her that? The mother feels some type of way, cause she like,
You up here acting like I'm not your mom.
she like,
You're not my mom.
and she feel disrespected, so she end up getting big and ugly. She toss her in this mirror, which I guess is gonna be her time out, and she tells her,
You can't come out until you a loving daughter.
and she throws her into this mirror. Now, I wonder if we gonna find Wobbly in there, or the grandmother's older sister in there, or something like that. Y'all. She gets tossed into this mirror, yeah? There's only one way in, one way out. The mirror that she went through becomes like a hard wall of rock. She ends up hearing some people talking. They're telling her to be quiet. It's something under the cover glowing. She takes the cover off. It's these three ghosts. They explain to her that I guess the other mother is called the Beldam, and how they forgot who they were. I'm guessing these are the old people that she kidnapped, and then they didn't love her, so they ended up dying in there, and their ghost stayed in there and remained in there. And they explained to her that the other mother spied on them when they were alive through the doll's eyes and lured them into there by understanding things that they didn't like, did those things, and that's how she got them over to the other side. They end up explaining that they ended up letting her actually sew buttons on their eyes. She acted like she loved them, but she ended up eating up their lives. Now, I don't know if their lives fuel her or what. But yeah, even after she showed the eyes on, she ate them. They lives, I guess. Coraline said she gonna get out of there. And the ghosts tell her that she ended up taking their eyes. And they ask her, if possible, find our eyes because then their souls can be free. This is so sad. So freaking sad, because I'm really sitting here like, where did the other mother even come from? And why is she built like this? She probably had a bad experience with her own mother or something. I don't know. But this is just tragic. Why she end up talking with the ghosts? Somebody end up snatching her out of there. She's struggling, tussling with them. Come to find out it's Wiley. And the other mother sewed up his face to make it like a really crooked, deformed smile. Coraline is like,
Did she do this to you?
she takes the strings out of his face so that he can talk, and he ends up getting her out of there. It does make me wonder, how is Wiley able to get her out of there? I don't know. I really don't know how he was able to get her out of there. All right, y'all. As you can see, the time has changed because I took a little mini break. Honestly, it was like 6 hours. We about to hop back into this. Wibby, whatever his name is. He ends up breaking her out of the mirror. Don't know how he was able to do that. The boy shows her a way to get out, right? Coraline is trying to get the boy to come with him. She's like, you know, she'll hurt you because the mom is calling her name looking for her, right? The boy takes off his glove. He blows and it turns to dust, like his whole hand disappears. So clearly we could see that this is a made-up world that the other mom created, and I'm gonna tell you, I don't understand. Is this supposed to be an actual kids movie? Because this is very terrifying. Coraline is able to crawl her way out. She ends up breaking out to the other side, to the real world, right? She ends up closing the door and locking the door. However, keep in mind, the key is still in the door. I don't know if that's gonna play a role. She ends up yelling like, "I'm home." She's asking where's her mom, where's her dad, nobody's there. However, she sees that the groceries are on her table. Now, she ends up knocking the groceries over, and the groceries are spoiled. The mom just got groceries. What's going on? Why are the groceries spoiled? Now, she ends up hearing a knock on the door. Mind you, the mom is nowhere to be found. The dad is nowhere to be found for some reason. It is YB, and he ends up telling her that the grandmom is mad that he gave her the doll because the doll originally belonged to her sister that disappeared. Coraline ends up pulling him into the house because she's like,
"So you stole the doll from your grandma?"
She explains to him the doll is the reason why she was able to go through that little portal place. The doll was the reason why she was able to go through the other woman created the doll to spy on her. She even briefly explains that her grandmother's soul is over there. Her eyes are over there. The boy, he asked her,
You want to open the lock to the other side?
She's like, not in a million years. I'm not trying to go over there. So clearly Coraline said, F y'all eyeballs, the ghost eyeballs. Y'all could just keep them eyeballs over there. However, I assume she gonna go back to go help them and get their eyeballs. That would be messed up if that was the end of the movie after they told her we need help. Now, also, she pulls the little boy into the house. Now, keep in mind, the grandmother told him, do not go into that house. So I am kind of concerned about what's going to happen to him, if something will happen to him. So Coraline is looking for the doll all around. I'm thinking the other mother took the doll or did something to it or whatever. She's rambling on about this other world that she went to, and the boy is like,
So you've been talking to my grandma because you sounding crazy.
So the boy ends up running about the house because he like, girl, you acting real crazy with it. He rides his bike off. The girl sees the car.
"Where's my mom and dad?"
She looks inside the car. Her mom's phone is in the car. She calls the dad on the mom's phone. He doesn't answer. Did the other mom do something to her parents? The girl decides to visit the neighbors to figure out where her parents are. When she gets there, she tells them,
"My parents are missing. I don't know where they are. Something's going on."
The ladies feel some type of way because I guess the mom was supposed to take them to the theater or something like that and drive them there. But now that they're missing, they don't have a ride. But they also tell her, you know what, we might have something for you to help your parents. They end up opening this case filled with different types of taffy, right? I was about to say Laffy Taffy. One of the ladies ends up like stabbing at it multiple times. Within it was an old ring, a green ring. She says that this ring can help, I guess, protect you from bad things. The other lady says it'll help from lost things, and they argue about it. Hopefully it can do both, because I'm thinking the other mom took her parents or did something to them. So she ends up going back home and she goes to her parents' bedroom and creates, I guess, pillow cushion versions of them. She plops them up to look like her parents a little bit. And it's really sad. She actually misses her mom and dad. She doesn't know where they are and she ends up crying, kisses them and tells them goodnight. You realize that she actually took her parents for granted and that she actually cares about them, really misses them, wants to be back with her parents. She's sleeping in her parents' bed. The cat ends up waking her up and showing her where the parents are. The parents are in the freaking mirror, y'all. In the mirror, the other woman, the other mom came from the other side and put her parents in the mirror. This is, again, the stuff nightmares are made of, because how do you even possess this power? How did you even cross over like this and lure and pull them parents into the mirror, bro? So the girl sees them. Her mom writes, "Help us," on the mirror. And the girl is mad. She ends up basically breaking the mirror, which, why are you doing this? You banging on the mirror. You know you can't reach through it like that. So she breaks the mirror and she's sitting in front of the fireplace with the cat. And she ends up seeing the cat leads her to finding a doll that has both the mom and the dad stitched together on it. And she ends up burning the doll. The other mom made this doll, was studying, watching the parents, lured them, I guess, and trapped them in the mirror. So the girl proceeds to plan to go there to figure out how to rescue her parents. She opens the door, the little mini door to the other side, begins crawling through it, right? As she crawling, the cat instantly can talk. He like,
You know you about to walk into her trap, right?
she looking at him like,
I have to, because that's my parents.
what do you mean I'm just gonna let them? How's she about to survive without them? The cat ends up explaining to her,
Challenge her to a game. She might not play fair, but challenge her.
what game are you going to challenge this, whatever she is, where she will be able to successfully win? But the door at the end of the tunnel ends up opening up and she hears her mother's voice. She ends up crawling to her, jumping into her arms. Come to find out, it's the other mom. It's not her real mom. She ends up asking her,
Okay, where are my parents at, bro?
she like, I don't know where your old parents are. Of course, playing in her face. The other mom starts coming up with lies like,
Oh, your parents probably don't care about you.
she ends up shoving her to the chair, telling her to behave. Now you see this raggedy looking version of her dad. He becoming deformed. I'm gonna assume that previously the other dad explained that the mother needs power or something to refresh her in order to keep the whole concept of that part of the world running. She ends up taking the key that Coraline used and swallowing it. The dad explains there's only one key. The other mom tells him to be quiet. You talking too much. You telling too much information. I find it really interesting because if it's only one key, how is she able to get across to go and kidnap her parents? The mom ends up making breakfast and Coraline follows her. She's trying to figure out what to do. The mom is singing. She's not keeping her form that looks similar to her mother. She's just this tall, lanky, looking very Skeletor-like a little bit. But she's cooking breakfast. Coraline proceeds to propose to her.
Hey, let's play a game.
The other mom's eyes glaze over a little bit like,
A game? What do you mean by that?
Coraline explains,
Let's play a game of finding things.
she's like, okay.
Okay, what are you trying to find?
And she says her parents and the eyes of the dead children. If Coraline is able to find them, then she can get everybody to come back home, including her. If she ends up not finding them, then she ends up having to stay there forever and getting a button sewed onto her eyes. So she ends up telling her she needs a clue in order to find all of this stuff. You need some extensive knowledge if you're about to find this. So the other mom proceeds to give her a clue. So one of the clues she gives is that a ghost eye is lost in plain sight. Which, what does that mean? And she doesn't even give a clue for her parents. All she does is tap her head a little bit. Who knows what that means? But she ends up turning around. The other mom ends up disappearing. So now Coraline begins to search. So the thing that gets me about all this too is they don't really set a time frame for how long she can search and play this game. It would be different if she set a time frame, but now she has kind of all the time in the world. Maybe it's just if she's gonna give up or not. Then there's also the factor that what if she ended up finding something and then the other mom ends up swapping places of where she found it. It's just, it just really makes you wonder if she's gonna play fair or not. Coraline starts to do her search in the garden, and the garden that once showed her love is now attacking her. It's so great that she actually came out there prepared with some sort of tools, because when I tell you, the flowers, the vines would have just snatched her up. So the bugs end up attempting to steal that ring that the neighbors gave her, and they almost do, but Coraline ends up knocking them out the air. The bugs end up turning to dust a little bit. She's wondering why would they want to steal this ring, and when she looks through the ring, it shows a completely different, I guess, setup. I'm assuming that the mother is using some type of illusion, so she's able to see through it and see something other than what she currently sees, and when she looks through it, she ends up finding something. It ends up being the, I guess, dad and being forced to attack her. I'm assuming they want to get that ring from her as well. The dad ends up attacking her, but ends up falling through this little bridge, and the dad ends up giving her something. She realizes it's one of the eyes from the souls. The soul tells her,
Thank you. Now you have to find the other two.
so she goes to where the neighbors performed their siren song and goes into their apartment, the theater set up. She ends up flashing a light. She realizes that it's some bats up there, but they're not doing anything. She ends up walking up to the stage and realizes it's this big shaped taffy looking candy. She ends up looking through the ring and realizes one of the eyeballs is in there. She reaches in it, tries to grab it. Turns out the sirens or the neighbors have their hands wrapped around the eyeball. She tries to snatch it. They're pulling her away, calling her a thief for stealing the eyeball from them. She ends up throwing the flashlight at the bats and alerting them. They end up flying down at her and attacking the people that had their hands on the eyeball. I'm so glad I watched this when I was much older, because this is just so creepy, so scary to me. I know I would have nightmares if I was younger. The area ends up turning to stone after that happens. This is also something that happens too when it came to her taking the eyeball from where the fake dad was. So I'm assuming the eyeballs give the other mom power, the attachment to the soul. It gives her power to fuel this place, so she needs more eyeballs is what it's given in order to exist on this other side. So she ends up walking up the stairs and she sees a deflated version of Wybie, no sand in him or anything. She yells that she's not scared. The door opens. I'm assuming this is the door of Boobsky. I can't remember his name, the Russian guy. She proceeds to go in there. Personally, I would be afraid if I see that my friend is deflated and his skin is just shaking up there like a bag in the wind. The Russian guy's other side appears to her and says,
"You looking for this?"
And it's the last eyeball. Proceeds to tell her,
You should stay here. They'll neglect you. You'll be bored over there. If you stay here, this is basically the place to be.
Mind you, while he's saying all this, it's clear that his talking, his verbal is slurred. He doesn't look the same. You could tell that the world kind of seems like it's falling apart at this point. So she explains as this guy lures her into the circus tent that he doesn't understand. She sees the eyeball on his hat. She tries to get it, but come to find out it's rats in there. It's rats that's holding him up, and they end up crawling out and they start shooting like cannonballs at her. It's a lot going on, bro. I don't see how y'all didn't just dream horrible dreams after watching this movie. One of the rats she was chasing ends up flying out the window. They end up tripping her and she falls out into the balcony. The balcony goes loose. She ends up falling. The balcony breaks off. She ends up falling on the ground. She realizes, oh, I'm running out of time. So I'm assuming based off of the button that is eclipsing the moon, that is how she knows when the game is over. You know, what is she gonna do? She only found those 2 souls. She lost track of the rat that took off with the other soul, other eyeball. She ends up crying a little bit, and then the cat shows up, showing her that he caught the rat, because you know he don't like rats. He ended up catching it. So after she finds the last eyeball, the plane of existence, it starts unraveling and things start turning white. So she runs into the house with the cat and they're able to get in without being erased as well. The concept of this movie is so interesting to me. I'm really excited to see how this ends. How was this world even created in the first place, you know? But now she has to find her mom. Now, I will say one thing that's interesting is the other 2 eyeballs spoke to her, but this last one did not. I assume this last eyeball that she found is the actual sister of the grandmother who let her parents move into the apartment that they stay in now, because it didn't say anything. So as she's walking through the house, it's starting to unravel. It's starting to revert back having color to not having color. She walks in. Certain creatures that the other mother had control over, they no longer are moving as able. She ends up seeing the other mother and she looks hit up, face scratched up. She looked like she toe up, toe down. She's still trying to convince her to side with her, to be with her. The other mom tells her,
well, you won't be able to find your parents without this.
And she ends up getting the ring and she throws it into the fire and it melts it, right? The last eyeball glows a little bit and is like, be careful, because she probably will never let you go. So
Be clever about everything you're doing.
me personally, I'm like, push her into the fire. Just push her in that fire. Like, that is literally my first thought. She humpback, hunched over. You might as well just trip her up into that fire in the fireplace and stuff burns so fast in it. She ends up telling the other mom,
I know where my parents are. They're behind that door that you locked.
she's like,
Oh, they are they?
Now, she ends up realizing that through the cat's help, her parents are actually in her snow globe. So now she got to figure out a way to get them out. She ends up tossing... Okay, wait. So the lady opens the door, right? She's like,
Your parents aren't in here.
Coraline is able to grab the globe that her parents are actually in, put them in her bag. She proceeds to throw the cat at the lady's face. They tussling, the cat scratching her up. And she's like, break towards this door so she can try to escape, right? Mind you, how's she gonna get her parents out the globe? But as the lady is tussling with the cat scratches her eyes out. So knocks off them button eyes. Lady can no longer see. The lady gets desperate. She ends up turning the house that they are in into a web and makes the floor fall out. Coraline falls through the floor. She at the bottom of the web, the center of the web. Turns out, this a whole spider. Black Widow, if you will. Or at least that's what it's given. That's probably why her back got a hump on it. Again, I done told y'all I don't like no bugs. But she can't really see anything because her eyes are gone. Which to me is absolutely hilarious, because if you're a spider, spiders normally have multiple eyes. You have none. So the web is sticky, and as she's sticking onto it, the other mom ends up realizing where she is because she can feel the vibration. She crawling. She ends up getting to the top of where the actual door is on the outside. She gets through it. The other mom gets up there. She's struggling. She's trying to close that door to lock it.
Close the door to lock it.
But the eyeballs end up using their soul spirit that they have left to help her close the door. She locks it. She's crawling. the lady is screaming,
I'll die without you. I need you.
which is true. She gonna die without her because she done took the eyes, the souls as well with her.
She crawling.
As she ends up getting out, the door starts coming closer. The door that she locked is like pushing its way forward towards her in this tunnel. Absolutely terrifying. Coraline is able to get out and locks that little cupboard back. When she gets out, she looks into her bag, realizes the water globe is not there. Oh my god, she done lost her parents. She looks up and notices, because she ends up touching something wet, she notices that the snow globe is broken.
The Detroit Zoo snow globe is broken.
The mom and dad end up coming through the door with snow all over them, saying that they were out. They ended up going out and they're going to be celebrating tonight with her. I'm assuming their mind, something wiped the fact that they were in this other world or something. Maybe it's because they're adults. I don't know. But for some reason, their mind is acting like they were out driving around, but really they were in a snow globe. Because Coraline is like,
look, you got snow on your coat.
She's like, what's got into you? The snow is melting off. The snow from the snow globe that they were in is literally melting off of their clothes. They don't even realize what they just experienced, how they would have been taken out the game. They have no recollection. So their garden catalog that they were working on actually did really well, and they're going to celebrate it actually doing well, being pushed through. They're talking, it seems like their family is getting along. Overall, it just seems like the mom and dad were just under pressure, were stressed out, and that's why they couldn't give her time. To me, it's almost like a test of patience. Finding distractions or something else to do. Or sometimes people be thinking the grass is greener on the other side, and it's like, babe, it's okay to be happy with what you have. But the mom and dad tuck her in. The mom surprised her with the gloves that she wanted, which was really sweet. She ends up seeing the cat on the windowsill, and the cat is looking at her. She opens the window and she apologizes to the cat because she was like,
that was all I could think of at the time to get her off my case. I apologize for throwing you at her.
And the cat comes in and snuggles her, cuddles her. Coraline ends up reaching into her bag, pulling out the little contraptions that had the eyeballs, that had the souls in it. She puts the eyeballs under her bed pillow and closes her eyes and goes to sleep. She ends up seeing the three spirits. They thank her for saving her. They're like,
We're free, but you're still in danger, babe.
you gonna need to do something about that key, because that key gives her a way to get out. Coraline wakes up and she ends up trying to figure out what to do with the key. She ends up deciding that I guess she's going to take this key and take it to the well. Now, as she's going to the well, the other mom is able to slip a hand through the door and goes after Coraline. As Coraline is about to drop it down this well, other mother's hand snatches her back and starts dragging her off. The boy, Wybie Weeby, he sees this and ends up coming to her rescue to help her. The hand ends up almost taking the boy out, almost trying to drop him in the well, which is crazy. Coraline ends up swiping it by covering a blanket. It ends up clawing its way out the blanket, about to attack her, and the boy drops a rock on her. Somehow he is able to get up out this well quick enough to drop a rock on it, and the hand ends up breaking into multiple pieces. She wraps the multiple pieces into a wrap and drops it into the well. Now, I can't really tell if she dropped the key in there with it or what. The guy and her put the little cover back onto the well. He tells her, I'm sorry I didn't believe you. I bet you believe me now after you almost got off by the freaking hand. Coraline is like,
why'd you decide to help me change your mind?
He shows her the picture of what the grandma showed her, what her and her sister look like, which I don't know if that really makes a difference. Maybe he was like, he wanted to save the eyeballs and save the grandma's sister's soul or something like that. So the grandma ends up calling him as she does. He's like, well, what do I tell my grandma? Coraline is like,
bring a better house. We'll tell her exactly what happened.
So the movie ends with Coraline and the parents. They're having a little gardening party. They invite the neighbors. She thanks the neighbors for the ring that they gave her. She's spending time with them. The Russian guy who has the circus mice show tells her that the mice told her thank you for being their savior. We end up meeting the grandma who owns the house. Yeah, she tells her
That is so much that she has to tell her about what actually happened during that whole situation.
So, if I were to give Coraline a rating, I would give it a 9 out of 10. It's actually not a bad movie. I understand why people like it. I understand the hype about it. I do kind of wonder, how did the other mother come to be? Like, what transpired that? I do wonder if she'll be able to get out potentially still, because I feel like they could do a Coraline 2 if they really wanted to, but I guess that ship has sailed. The story was definitely well written. I did like that the characters were from Michigan. I like the art style. It was very interesting. I actually genuinely liked it. Also, don't forget, if you like the reaction or if you want to just check out the Coraline wishlist, feel free to shop it. Links will be in the description box down below. Yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Did you guys ever watch Coraline? What were your thoughts about it? I genuinely enjoyed it. I did not realize it was going to be as long as it was though. But yeah, I would definitely watch it again. I did like the ending that Coraline realized that her parents weren't so bad as she thought that things were. Like, she made the realization that things could be worse. Things are more than what they seem. Everything that is glitters is not gold. Let me know in the comments down below. Did you guys watch Coraline? Did you like this movie? Would you watch it if you haven't seen it? Let me know your thoughts about it. What did you think about the other side, the other mother? Would you have attempted to stay on the other side if you knew that you could get whatever you wanted? Let me know in the comments, because it just seemed like the other mother was just trying to find a way to preserve her existence. But it also does, it really makes me wonder, how was she able to get the dolls across without having a key? That's the only thing where I'm kind of like, why is that? But let me know y'all thoughts in the comments down below. Feel free to check out my other movie reactions. I will be reacting to Twilight next, so stay tuned for that, as well as I will be reacting to A Nightmare Before Christmas as well really soon. But I'll be seeing you guys again. Stay blessed, stay positive. Bye.